Good afternoon, everybody. It's May. It's May. How time has flown since we started all of this back in March, and here we are in May. Glad that we can be with you again today. And first we'll open up, as we usually do, with Steve saying a prayer and maybe a visit from the voice.
Thank you, Lynn. Let's bow in prayer. God, in the midst of our anxieties and the chaos around us and our self-doubts about how things are going and who's making what decision, help us to trust that in everything you are present. Even in wrong decisions, there are possibilities of new birth, and right decisions can lift us up and move us forward. We ask you to continue to be with us, especially be with those who are by themselves in assisted living or the nursing home or even in apartments that make it difficult for them to feel your joy. Visit them, Lord, and help us to visit them through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Oh, hey, voice. What's that? That is a special button. This is the Orlando button. You push that button. No, wait, okay. You push that button and all your problems go away. And it's only $9.99. You send me $9.99 and I'll send you an Orlando button. Wait. You know, we don't even know what the button really does, and we shouldn't be sending you money for that. Boy, are you behind times. On the internet, when I say $9.99, you just send it, you don't question it. Wait. I mean, we would need to know more what that button does. Could I just... No. Stay away. Oh, okay. But we would need to know. I mean, how about $9.88? Would you buy it then? Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't want to encourage people to spend their money on something that they don't know is going to do. Okay. I got another special offer that you can't refuse. What's that? I can tell you for free, you got that? For free, one thing that will cure the world of war, poverty, hunger, and all those families who fight, they'll no longer fight. Wow, that's pretty special. Yes, but you gotta understand it right away. I see, and you're gonna tell us about that? I am. Are you ready? Drum roll, please. Oh, okay. This, I've even forgotten what it is now. Okay, are you ready? Escucha. What? You didn't hear it? Well, I'm not sure I even understand it. Well, here's the deal. All of you out there have 1 week to figure out what that was that I said and how it would bring peace to the world. And the person who writes the best little description of the answer, me, will give them a free ice cream bar. A free ice cream bar? I like ice cream. Well, all you gotta do is tell us what I said and how it will cure the world. Well, would you say it again? No. This is a contest to see who was listening. I saw that man out there breaking coffee, and that lady was reading a magazine. No, this is a contest. Who gets the best answer? A free ice cream bar. Okay, voice. Well, we'll wait till next week to find out what's happening. But could I just push this button? You can push it, but it's not very good. Okay, that helps, but wait for next week till we get a real answer. And now, here's Lynn.
Thank you, voice. I'm anxious to hear what the answer is myself. I think people should probably put their thoughts on a piece of paper and either turn them in directly to Steve, or maybe even put them in the
In your box.
town hall box that's in the rotunda.
That's right.
So we'll be anxious to see what answers you all have.
Give us a day ahead so I can look at them to pick out the best of them.
Okay, well, we've been having different managers here as part of our town hall meeting with you, and today we have a very special guest. And let's see who that might be.
Surprise!
There's Lee!
Yay! I'm back. Today is my first day. It's been a little bit hard to be away from my baby, but I'm excited to be here. And I have a lot of plans for us to do and activities, and I'm gonna be here only 30 hours a week instead of 40 to begin with. It will be Monday till Thursday between 8 and 4, something like that. So you can come and say hi one by one. And I would love to see you all and start moving. Yeah.
Okay. We're glad she's back. We're very glad she's back.
Very good.
Yes. So I will see you around.
Thank you.
And that picture you saw, that was Shy.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
our new baby girl.
Yeah, just saying that she's amazing. And I love her so much.
And how big is she now?
She is 11 pounds.
11.
11 pounds.
Wow.
Pretty soon she'll outweigh you.
Almost.
Thanks, Lee, for coming. Thanks for coming back. We're glad you're here.
Yes.
I know all the residents are very happy to see you, so thank you very much.
Are we gonna, is there any possibility of using the exercise room?
Not at this time,
Not at this time, okay.
but thank you for asking, and you're not the first one to ask.
Oh, I thought, I
Sure.
speak for everybody.
I know you do. I know you do. I have a list of things to share with you, and first of all, I wanted to make sure that I don't forget that Jan Banker wanted you all to know that on Wednesdays between 2 and 4, there will be someone in the Rotunda area, maybe more than someone, maybe a few someones, who will be collecting donations, your offerings, for the Melrose Elementary School and the Pinellas Association for Retarded Children. So those are the two charities that will be supporting through the offerings, chapel offerings this year. So feel free on Wednesdays between 2 and 4 to bring your offerings to the Rotunda area. Alrighty. Well, I hope you all got to see the fantastic Westminster, Kentucky Derby. And I hope some of you won. It was a lot of fun, and I know the staff really had fun doing it, and it was a great video. I giggled often through it, watched it several times myself, and thanks to Ashley and everyone who participated, because it was really a fun outdoor event. Also, for those of you, it's Rainbow Week here, so show your colors. Today is Orange Day. Tomorrow is yellow. That's Tuesday, or that'll be the day that you're seeing this, it's yellow. Wednesday is going to be Green Day. Thursday is Blue Day. Friday is Purple Day. And Saturday is Wear Your Pink. So please remember, join the spirit of things, and tomorrow, well, the day you see this, it will be yellow. So enjoy that, and we'll see how many shades of yellow we can find tomorrow. Wanted to remind people that usually when we're together and we're in the hallways and we see each other throughout the campus, there are times that residents nominate staff for doing extraordinary things. We call them creating legends. And I just wanted you to know, even though we're not together, we don't see each other very often, you can still continue to nominate people for Creating Legends Awards. Staff would love to hear your thoughts. I do share thank yous. but if you have someone that you particularly think is doing an excellent above and beyond job, we would love to have you complete a Creating Legends nomination. They're available on MyWLife under the Human Resources tab, or they're also available in our office. You can pick up a nomination form and fill it out if you'd like. It's very sad for me to let you know that we did have 2 deaths this weekend. We lost Eva Maestro on Saturday, and we also lost Bill Martin, who was one of our newer residents. So those are in the hallway, as we usually put up a little memorial for them in the hallway of a 2nd floor Bahama Place. And that's the sad news that I have to share with you today. On a more positive note, this is Nurses Week, and we usually celebrate our nurses with our nurse aides, our CNAs, in June, but I felt like I had to mention that it is Nurses Week, so you can certainly thank our nurses when you see them this week. Also, I wanted to celebrate all the residents who are nurses, because we have a lot of resident nurses that do live here, and they, I'm sure, could tell you all kinds of things about the careers that they led. So we want to celebrate our current nurses and our resident nurses and wish you all a happy Nurses Week. I often tell you on this town hall recording that about the cases that we have across Westminster communities of Florida. The cases at Westminster, Point Pleasant, and Bradenton are doing well. The one woman has returned back to her apartment, and the other gentleman came home from the hospital and is doing well. The woman in independent living up in Tallahassee at the Oaks has also returned to her villa, and that's great news. The woman in Hewash Manor, which is one of our rental retirement communities, she is still in the hospital, but she's doing well. And I'm thinking I forgot someone. Oh, the Palms. The Palms, everyone is doing well, and within the next week going to be coming off their quarantine as well. No new cases at all in Westminster communities of Florida, and that's the best news that I can share with you. And everyone that did test positive is indeed improving and coming off their quarantine. All good news. We had a surprise visit here on Saturday. I got a call at Saturday morning that the Florida Department of Health was here. That was indeed a surprise for a Saturday morning. They came to check on our assisted living. They came to check to make sure that we had enough PPE, personal protective equipment, the masks, the gloves, things like that. They are very pleased that we have no positive cases here, and we reminded them that we are very conservative in our approach, and that's probably why we have no cases here. They were questioning why we expected 2 negative tests coming out of the hospital, and again, I explained that it was because we have a very conservative approach, and we don't want to bring any COVID-19 here to our community. So they were pleased. Tracy Marks, our assisted living coordinator, did a great job in providing them with an email, and they wanted staffing schedules, staff names, our current census, a floor plan, our current amounts of PPE that we have, and Tracy did a great job in providing all that to them. We're waiting to hear back from them that they received that, but indeed it was a very good visit, and they were very pleased with what we do here at Westminster Shores. I wanted to remind you or tell you that we're beginning to talk about salon services. There's no definite plan in place, but to even hear that we're talking about it and trying to put something in place to bring salon services back is a very positive sign. You all have been asking me about that, and I know we would all look and feel a little bit better about ourselves if we were able to have some salon services here. So as I hear more about that, I will be glad to share that, but I was happy to hear that we're even talking about it. Steve and I often mention it on conference calls that we have with our MSS folks in Orlando, the senior management team, and it's good to know that they're hearing us and that indeed We expect more news to come along in the next week or two. In addition to that, they're also talking about expanding housekeeping services again. I have no definition of what that means, but on the conference call I was on a short while ago, they did mention again about housekeeping services. And I know you're all glad that you have the services that you have, but I've heard from many people you'd like even more services. So we'll see if we can expand that. A reminder that deliveries must come to the Bahama Place reception desk. I've had a number of residents talk to me about they feel it's more safe to have them delivered directly to them. Unfortunately, the rule right now is that everything comes here. That primarily is because we expect that the person who's the delivery person goes through the screening process and tells us where they've been so that we can indeed track. If indeed we would ever get a case of COVID, we could track to see who brought COVID to the community and where they had been. So for right now, there is no exception and every delivery must come here to Bahama Place. Speaking of exceptions, I believe my entire day Friday was talking to people about exceptions of one sort or another. You know, does the quarantine have to be 14 days? Could it be less? Am I quarantined if I do this or that? Or couldn't we open up the fitness room? Or couldn't we open up the beauty shop? Or, you know, even if it would just be me, would that be okay if it was just for me? I have to tell you right now, there are no exceptions to any of the rules. We have to continue to be as vigilant as we have been. We're very fortunate that we have no cases here, and it's because everyone, all of residents and staff working together are truly, truly working hard at those restrictions and precautions we have in place. I want to give you a little update from our Chief Financial Officer, Hank Keith. He was on a conference call with us last week, and he had some news, so I just wanted to share that with all of you. Our occupancy across Westminster communities of Florida in independent living is 93.9%. That's still very high considering what we're going through. Assisted living is 92%, and the health center is where we have seen our greatest dip in census, and that's at 84% across all the Westminster communities. The labor expenses in our skilled units, our nursing home units, has increased slightly, but they predict that's due to the virus. We still have no layoffs and no furloughs. We do have a hiring freeze in place that if someone leaves a position, we will think long and hard about replacing that position at this time. But we have no layoffs and we predict no layoffs. Hank Keith told us that the investment portfolio as of the end of March this year compared to end of March last year actually has shown a 2% increase. So that's a very positive thing. He also explained that they are applying for a $20 million line of credit. We have one in place and we want to get approved for a second one. Hank assured us that we probably won't use it, but if something that we can't predict happens, that we would be able to have that available to take care of Westminster communities and our residents. Again, he said twice, we don't expect to use that. We don't expect to use the one we currently have in place, but just in case, they felt that it was kind of like an insurance policy for us. We still maintain our A- Fitch rating, which in light of everything we're going through, Fitch A- rating is excellent for a senior living community. Hank explained that our reserves are more than enough to go forward. We have plenty of reserves. Our Office of Insurance Regulation, who had a huge inspection with us at the end of last year, they oversee all the financial pieces of all the CCRCs or retirement communities in the state of Florida. Indeed, they require so much reserves. We have those reserves and more in place, so there should be no reason we can't just continue to operate the way we are operating. And overall, he said that despite the pandemic, we are really doing very well. So that was a very good report from Hank Keith, and I just wanted to share that information with you. I wanted to say how good it was to see all of you on the Zoom meeting that we had for the Resident Association quarterly meeting last week. It was nice to see residents in their homes without their masks, and I must say I really miss seeing all of you, but that was a nice glimpse into seeing you at home without a mask. I want to let you know that we're working on ways to celebrate Mother's Day. We have a lot of mothers here. Usually it's a day when lots of your children will visit, and so it will be a little bit different this year since we truly have no visitors, and that is a restriction we don't see lifting at any time soon. So we are happy to celebrate Mother's Day with you. We're happy to celebrate our new mother, Lee, as she's having her first Mother's Day, and you'll be seeing us around with different things happening for Mother's Day. I want to thank you for the funnies. It gives me a smile every time I open one, and sometimes in the seriousness of every day and everything that goes on, to have a smile or a chuckle, giggle, really brightens my day, and I do try to share those. Also, thank you for the thank yous. Residents stop me as I go through the hallways or throughout the campus, and they just say thank you. And I always say it's really our team. It's not me, it's our team that does a heroic job in trying to keep everybody vigilant and abiding by all the restrictions and the precautions that we put in place. But our team is doing an excellent job, and we thank you for the thank yous. And I have to thank you for following the restrictions, because we are what we are, and it's because you and our staff really work well and work hard. It's not easy to stay under the restrictions that we have right now, but I thank you very much for that. I have a few questions that came to me. There was a reminder that there were residents on the campus that were receiving deliveries and visitors. So we've already talked about both of those things, and I reiterate, all deliveries come here and no visitors, period, on the campus. I think some of your loved ones are just missing you and want to really see you, but we can't allow that at this point. So thank you for following those rules. Another one came, is there any chance the swimming pool can be opened again? It would be so nice. Well, happy to say that we opened the pool on Thursday. So that did happen. I think maybe you brought us good luck, whoever wrote this. Here's one for Lee. Can the fitness center be opened anytime soon with limited occupancy and social distancing? It's noted that some gyms have been allowed to reopen. Actually, my understanding of phase 1 of what Governor DeSantis is saying is that gyms and bars cannot be open. So if gyms are opening, and I know I've seen it on the news, they are disobeying the order of the phase 1 from Governor DeSantis. So at this point, we are not opening the gym, but we will continue to inform our senior management in Orlando that that is something that our residents would really like to see. And I know a number of you have talked to me about that throughout this whole time. Another question I got was, what if one spouse becomes infected with COVID-19? And what are the plans for isolating the infected member? And what happens with the spouse? And actually, if someone is infected with COVID-19, they will be sent to the hospital. And after a short period of time, if they are admitted to the hospital, they will probably then go to Suncoast to quarantine for 14 days. If it's not an overnight stay and we get negative tests, there is a chance that you could come back here into your apartment, but you would then have to isolate for 14 days as well. No matter when you go to the hospital, if you stay overnight or stay for a few nights, or you go to the emergency room and come back, the chances that you have been exposed to COVID are greater than just going about our daily business here. So we expect everyone who leaves the community to go to the hospital for any reason that they will isolate either here or they will be sent to Suncoast. So those were all my questions. I thank you for those coming in. I look for them every day in the box that's in the rotunda. And I think, did you have anything else,
Yes,
sir?
yes, wanted to say. First of all, I'm glad for all of you who participated in the Zoom conference, and I'm sorry that there were some of you who weren't able to get in. And we're going to work on that, but you can help us by letting Mark know what you tried and it did or didn't work, but also make use of your neighbors. You know, just because we're sheltered in place doesn't mean you can't talk to your neighbors, some of whom have a lot more technical ability than you or I do. And so let's work on your being able to get on Zoom and interact. I've had a couple of comments about that, the benefit of it. One is what Lynn mentioned, you get to see each other. And actually that has an uplifting feeling when you get to see people around. And then secondly, there is the possibility of interaction with the call-in. Now, the other alternative, which we're also looking into, is what's called live streaming. And that would be that you would come on that channel 732 and we could live stream it. Wouldn't have to film it one day and upload it and so on. The good side of that is that we could do it in a live, but it hasn't been totally worked out yet and don't know whether it will. The downside would be you would have it more difficult interacting, but there is a possibility, as one resident mentioned, we could always have a couple of dedicated phones listed, and so while we're live streaming, you could call in and ask a question and we could focus it into the people who are doing it. And that would help. But the downside is, another downside of live streaming over against Zoom is you wouldn't be able to see each other. You'd only see we who are projecting on you. But we are playing with that, and one of the reasons we're playing with all this is, you know, we all hope that this will be over soon, but I even saw a thing the other day of a bunch of, I know, scientists, experts, but they were all getting together and they thought that there could be some of this up to 2 years. 2 years. Now, you can imagine how this has affected you already and how it's even affected more the people who are in assisted living and or isolated in their rooms. And so it's much better for us to plan ahead as if it's going to go on for a long time and then be relieved that it didn't. And Ashley and Bettina and Mark are really working hard to provide resources on 732 and in the weekly calendar and so on. And I urge you to pay attention to those and see what works. And one of the little exercises you might do is to take some time, sit down, and take a list and try to remember throughout your life what were little things that helped you lift your spirits, even if it was just for a moment. You know, for example, if I shouldn't, but if I thought about it, I'd say, ooh, hot fudge sundae. Well, that would be a thing. Now, there are times when you shouldn't do it and shouldn't, but you need to make a list of those things, whether it is listening to some music, writing a poem, particularly good if you write members of your family and or go on Zoom or what are the other things, Portal or anyway, so you can see them. I have found in the last 4 months, as I've been struggling with my own aloneness, how important it is to see my family interacting with me. And that happens on this pictorial thing, and it is not that hard to do. And if you have trouble doing it, again, you can ask a neighbor who is more proficient technologically and see if they can help you do it. And then once you get started, you'll be doing all right. And I would pay attention to the fact that your family has feelings too. It isn't just you that are feeling down. They're feeling bad that they're cut off from you. My 2 daughters gave me some lectures this week about how I should behave and what I should be doing. And in a way, that's irritating, yes, but it's also sort of fun and tender. but it also reflects how concerned they are. One of them lives in Virginia. The other one just lives in Tampa, but she can't come see me. And so pay attention to their feelings and give them some relief by you bringing up how you're feeling and talking about it, but also about the list of things you could do that helps you interrupt that feeling of despondency or the feeling of boredom or whatever. And then if you make that list, give it to me, and let's make up a community list, a variety of things that people can use to interrupt the boredom and interrupt the despair and the blue feelings. And in that way of thinking, pay attention to your feelings. Don't just try to dismiss them or say, I don't want, I can't feel that way. It is important to pay attention to your feelings now, and feelings that aren't paid attention to will trap you later. I was talking to Rosie and Tony Catarucci's daughter, who happens to be a psychotherapist, and she's working with post-traumatic stress people and all that. And she was telling me how important it is to be able to cuddle and to touch each other, which we can't do or a lot. But she found out that even hardened soldiers and other people who come in and see her, if she had a teddy bear that they could cuddle for a little bit, as long as they didn't get embarrassed by it, they really got some benefit from it. Or you remember that old Linus blanket? Well, they had a special blanket. Look for what can help you, but don't be embarrassed about using it to make yourself feel better. And then I would finally say, right now at least, you can visit your neighbor. Yeah, you should be careful, and it shouldn't be a whole bunch of you. But it's important to reach out to people who are somewhat isolated and say, would you like to have, and I don't care whether it's wine or Coke or whatever, but something, just to sit and talk for a little bit. You can do it on Zoom, and you can do it on the phone, and those are important, and you can write notes. But right now, in our community, if we stay there, we can actually visit each other as long as we're careful. And it could make a lot of difference to somebody else's spirit. One of the things you need to realize is when you're feeling bad, somebody else is feeling bad. When you do something for them, you feel better. Just reaching out to someone, it helps you. And of course, if you could pay attention to what the voice said earlier and you come up with the right explanation, I'll get you the ice cream bar for the winner who writes the best definition of what he did and what it means. So thank you very much, and we'll probably, I haven't talked to Lynn about this or Mark, but probably we'll have some more Zoom meetings. We won't wait for quarterly meetings while we're doing this, because it does help us interact. So thank you for being who you are and for reaching out and caring for others. Anything else?
No, thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow on Yellow Day, because that's when we are going to be broadcasting this. Thanks, everybody. Be well.